Hey everyone. This is something new that I've been thinking of doing. Um, every once in a while, if I want to have something to talk about, or if I'm like wanting to watch a show, I'm just gonna come up here and just give my personal thoughts on something. I'm calling it actual PET, personal thoughts. Anyone who's a Mega Man fan, I hope you got the reference. That one was especially for you. But yeah, it's just me coming up here and just talking about anything, just freestyle. I was thinking of like writing a script for this, trying to make it an editorial, something like that, but I just decided, you know what, it didn't come off as authentic, as real, so I just wanted to be as chill as possible. So what I'm going to be talking about today is something that I've wanted to talked about for a while, ever since a recent movie came out. I want to be talking about Star Wars. I have plans hopefully to see Rogue One soon because I want to see how that turned out. Um, but of course, with Rogue One out, it's got me thinking about, of course, all the Star Wars movies, that's happened so far. You got your original trilogy, the prequels, the new stuff with Episode 7, and I just wanted to talk about something that I feel a lot of people don't give credit to, and I think you guys already know by the title. I'm going to be talking about the prequels. And I feel like the prequels just get a very bad rep. I understand that the prequels aren't as good as the original trilogy. I've watched all of them myself, like at least, I think all of them at least twice. And yeah, I know the prequels, are hated for introducing midichlorians, and you can't even say Jar Jar Binks' name without an original trilogy fan, or most just Star Wars fans in general, without getting pissed off. I may be like the only Star Wars fan who just looks at Jar Jar Binks and say, he was only in one movie, so it wasn't that bad. Uh, but yeah, I just feel like the prequels get like a lot of heat, and it's sad because they did a lot of good things for Star Wars franchise. They were able to expand on the Star Wars universe. I feel that in a way that I feel like the original trilogy couldn't. I can give an example. Like Star Wars: The Clone Wars, both versions in 2003 and in 2008. It's funny because the prequels is actually how I actually got introduced to Star Wars. The Clone Wars 2003 version is the first thing I saw, and I was like, oh wow, this is really freaking cool. And I started watching that, and then I had to watch, like obviously the movies that were related to it that came before and after it. And I actually saw the prequels first before the original trilogy. I saw I don't know if it was in order, but I know I saw like all of the prequels before I saw the original trilogy. And it didn't take away anything for me. Like the still big reveal was still cool and stuff like that. Cause like I was younger, so I didn't remember everything the first time. But like I remembered enjoying the prequels, and if I watched them now, I wouldn't have a problem. They have their issues, but so does the original trilogy. Everyone harps on the original trilogy. Not harps, wrong word. Everyone claims the original trilogies are like this great set in stone thing, and yeah, don't get me wrong, they are, but just like, the prequels are like the redheaded stepchild. Like no one wants to talk about them. Like I was talking to them with my brother when we were in the car one day, and we were just talking about, it's like, the prequels are just treated unfairly. Like there were a lot of good things that the prequels brought to the table. Like I said, I felt like it expanded on the Star Wars universe more with both Clone Wars series. I felt like it gave them more personality. Anakin especially, he needed some much needed personality instead of just the whiny guy that we had just, associated him with in episode 2. I felt bad for Hayden Christensen because, like, I don't think he's a terrible actor. I know the prequels have its share of, like, bad acting, and it does. Don't get me wrong, it does. But, like, I had no problem with Hayden Christensen. I thought there were a lot of scenes that he did well. But yeah, he was just, oh man, just way too whiny. That's what I liked about specifically the Clone Wars in 2008. Like, that Anakin was just so much more likable. He was funny, he was caring, and of course, he had that dark edge to him, like those hinting that he was going to go to the dark side eventually, obviously. But, like, it felt like he was an actual person. Like, I felt like if the prequels had that Anakin, I would have felt so much more worse for him. I felt bad for, the Anakin in the prequels, but, like, I always, like, kind of reimagine, that Anakin as the one who fell to the dark side. And they do a good job with it. A couple episodes in season 3 where like he's shown the future, where he's shown that what he'll transform to, and it's done really well. And like all this takes place in the prequels, in the prequel universe, the universe where nobody wants to talk about it. It's just like, say what you want about the movies, but they brought a lot of good stuff with them. And it's a shame because when Star Wars Episode 7 came out, I saw it. I saw it twice already. And I enjoyed it, but I think as everyone knows, it's pretty much the same thing as 4. It follows the same thing as 4 from, a droid carrying information that the rebels need to defeat the Empire, or the First Order in this case, to like pretty much everything. I mean, it was a carbon-based copy of Episode 4, and it was well received. There were a lot of people who like saw that and said, this is just Episode 4. It's like, this isn't anything great. We saw this already. It's just Episode 4 with different characters. But a lot of people liked it, and if you want to like it, that's fine. This is just my personal opinion. You have your personal opinion. But it's funny. Episode 7 gets a pass for pretty much just being a copy of 4, and while the prequels weren't great, I feel like no one acknowledges the fact that they had the guts to be its own thing. Episode 1 is Episode 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3. Love them, hate them, they're their own thing. Obviously, they lead to the story of the original trilogy, but they're their own thing. They're not copy and paste of the original trilogy. They're their own thing. And, people say they're bad, but like, they dared to be different. Not everything worked. Definitely not everything worked, but there was a lot of things that did work. I like the pod racing scene in Episode 1. The lightsaber scenes are way better than the prequels. And I mean, like, the first major lightsaber fight was the one with Darth Maul, and that was just, oh my god, it was mind blowing. I watched it recently. I'm just like, this is just great. Episode 2 had its problems. I mean, it had the terrible romance scenes with Padme and Anakin, and just unbelievably not believable romance. No, like, I know it's a movie, but just like, damn, that was really bad. But there was a lot of good things with with Episode 2. I like the Battle of Geonosis. I thought that was really cool. Gladiator style, and it was a good explanation of why, the Jedi were starting to get cut off. They lost a lot of Jedi during that battle. There was a lot of good things in 2. Like, once again, the Battle of Geonosis. I liked Yoda fighting. For some reason, people didn't like the fact that Yoda, was fighting. They wanted him to be like just that wise, powerful figure. But I had no problem with Yoda fighting, and he only fought like twice in the prequels, like if you're just counting the movies, not like the Clone Wars or any of them. And it was against Dooku and Palpatine. Like, I think it called for like that situation where they needed Yoda. So I didn't think that was a problem. And Episode 3, I love the beginning of Episode 3 where Anakin and Obi-Wan are trying to save the Chancellor. That is just a great fun ride. And just a lot of the theater scene where Anakin's talking to Palpatine, everyone always agrees, if they didn't like the prequels, they at least liked that scene. It was really, really good. It's still one of my favorite scenes from that whole movie. The duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan, that was amazing. Obi-Wan fighting General Grievous, that was cool too. So there's a lot of great things in the prequels. Now, as a whole, yes, they have their flaws. Like I said, I could harp on the bad romance, just so unbelievably. I don't want to talk about it. But, damn it, the prequels tried, They tried, and while not everything stuck, they said, you know what, we're going to be our own thing. And while I loved Episode 7, I liked it and I can enjoy it, and I think it's a fun movie, there's always that bit of, you're pretty much just Episode 4 with a different set of paint. And, with the whole nostalgia factor, too. And it's just a shame. I feel like that the prequels are alright. They're their own thing. They're not the original trilogy, but they're not supposed to be. Movies are supposed to be different. Even if it's like a bridging story, they're not supposed to just be the same thing as the one before. And I will always respect the prequels for that. So, I hope you guys enjoyed my personal thoughts on that. I'm going to try to do this a little bit more. And, maybe I'll do a TV series, I don't know. I don't watch enough TV at all, so maybe I might like check out some. And if Netflix comes out with anything, that piques my interests, maybe I might do that. And just talk about some other things that I want to talk about. But I'll see you guys at the next one. All right, peace.